I'm pretty sure most people would agree that GTA Online today is a pretty well-polished game after being out for 10 years. However, there are still various big and small details that Rockstar has missed and has not corrected over the years. So I will now present some of those various details, and let's get into it. First up, we have 2D windows. Now, this isn't really a detail that they could have fixed when GTA 5 Online and even GTA 5 was being made, because back then the consoles just weren't as powerful. If every building had an open interior that you could see through, even if it was just a little bit, maybe there was a black wall behind that, it would still take up space and make your game run slightly worse. Now, once again, this isn't really a detail that Rockstar could correct today. They would have to overhaul pretty much every building that has a 2D window, and I just think that they don't have the time for that, or they don't want to put aside time for that, and they'd rather put that time towards the development of GTA 6. However, it would still be cool to just have a little bit of something, because these 2D windows really just look pretty bad. For example, here is the Maze Bank 2D windows, and most of these windows are just copy and pasted like every other window, so it looks slightly unique, but it just looks really bad. And at nighttime when the lamps are on, it just looks like a sticker at that point, and it's just not great looking. But this is something I highly expect GTA 6 to get rid of. I believe the leak said that many buildings will be able to have an open interior that we can go through without the use of blue circles and black screens, which will be absolutely amazing. Because right now, if you want to go into any building that has a 2D window but has windows on the inside of it, you have to go through a black screen. And it is just really unfortunate because it just doesn't look good for the game. It doesn't feel good to use, and it's just really bad. Here I actually have the Luxury Autos dealership, and this is something I'm talking about we could see further, maybe in GTA 5, but definitely in GTA 6. Something that is not fully exportable or exportable at all, but it's not just a 2D window of a sticker, it is actually a semi-open interior. I actually wish that Rockstar would make these interiors slightly bigger, especially this one in particular, because this is a dealership, and the dealership could only have 2 cars on showcase at once, so not very effective in my opinion. But it just goes to show that Rockstar could do this, but for optimization reasons, I think they just choose not to, because the game performs better without them, and I don't think a lot of people would even appreciate them in the first place. However, I'm sure many of us appreciate this one. Most cars have a circle to dictate their hitbox basically, so if you hit a wall, it dictates where the car gets damaged and where the car collides with the wall. This is visible, but just barely on all cars. However, on cars that are pretty low to the ground, this is very apparent. Here I have the tires lowered to the maximum suspension that you can go to, and I'm on the grass here, and there is this weird circle that is following me everywhere, and this is basically the car's hitbox and the circle accompanying it and making sure that it hits what it's supposed to and doesn't hit what it's not supposed to. Now, once again, every car has this, but it is very visible on cars that are pretty low to the ground. SUVs have it, motorcycles have it. It's just a feature to help the game basically decide where your car is on the map. But I think it's pretty weird how they left this in, because I'm not a coder or anything, I'm not a developer, I have no idea what it takes to make a game, but I'm pretty sure there's some way you could get around this, making it a bit less visible. Maybe if it interacts with grass or something, it turns a different shade to blend in, or I'm not too sure, but I'm sure there's a way to mask this. Something I will quickly go over is car naming. Now behind me right here, I have the Italy GTO, but there is also the Italy GTO Stinger TT, and there is also the Grotti Stinger, which is another Grotti car. All these cars are Grottis. So Rockstar really didn't take into account naming in GTA Online and GTA 5 and where they wanted to go in terms of naming cars, because I get you want to connect cars to a brand or whatnot and you want cars to feel all connected together. But if it gets to the point where you're naming a car after another car and then adding another car after that name of the car and then adding TT at the end of it, it just gets complicated and really kind of throws off the direction of where you want to go. I would also appreciate it if cars had more realistic naming, but I guess they could run into trademark issues, which they definitely do not want, and I can completely understand that. Next up, we have a feature that has been left in the game for a very long time because it is a very old feature. It is low resolution engines and engines that just don't look good. Here I have the Oracle XS, I believe. It's either the Oracle or the Oracle XS. Pretty sure it's the Oracle XS. It is a 2013 car, OG, and here's the engine. It is not updated whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, this car is the exact same from when it was released in 2013 as it is now. And I'm not asking for super detailed engines, but just something that is a bit of an upgrade. For example, when the first new generation consoles came out, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Rockstar went back and had to add interiors for all cars because first person was not a thing on the original consoles. But most of the interiors, as a result of not being really used in the first generation consoles, were pretty bad quality. So Rockstar went back and added some decent looking interiors. They're not great by any means, but they're a little bit better than the originals because they just look better. And it shows that Rockstar can do this. They can go back and add better looking engines to older cars, but once again, I don't really think they want to do this. They don't need to do this, which sucks, but whatever. Now this next detail, I can go on and on for hours honestly just talking about how it doesn't really make sense. But here I have my sedans garage. There are multiple classes in this garage, even though this is a garage dedicated to sedans with 4 doors. There are sports cars in this garage. There is a coupe, which makes no sense because it has 4 doors, but whatever, we can get into that later. And last but not least, there is actual sedans. Now what I'm questioning is, what philosophy does Rockstar follow when putting cars in the sedans category? Because new sedans are few and far between. Most of the time they are put into sports or other classes that makes absolutely no sense, because by definition a sedan is a car with 4 doors. Now you could get into sedans that are coupes, because there are cars like that in real life that are actually SUVs and they classify as coupes just because, I don't know, marketing or something. For example, the Mercedes GLE 63 is classified as a 4-door coupe, which makes absolutely no sense at all, because I mean, it's not a coupe, it's a 4-door, which they literally put in the name, but whatever. And it seems like the easy thing for Rockstar to do is to just put a car in sports, because it just makes more sense, because the car is likely more sporty than it is just a plain sedan. But it goes into the point where, what if there are sporty sedans? Where do you get into that? I think really Rockstar should have stuck to it from day one, where sedans, if it has 4 doors, it should be in the sedans category, not in any other category. But unfortunately they didn't, and they mixed up the categories. Now we have sedans in the sports category, we have sedans in the coupes category, and the categories are just all mixed with cars that honestly have no purpose in the category. The whole point of putting a car in a certain category is to make it more competitively viable, because if you have a 4-door sedan, sedans are likely more slower than a sports car or something, then it just makes more sense to have it in the sedans category where it's competing against other sedans. It just all gets really messy. Like, for example, what if there is a 4-door hypercar like the Koenigsegg Chimera? Then do you put it in sedans or do you put it in supers? It gets kind of confusing, and really there is no end to it. Next up, we have a slightly more specific case of Rockstar missing a detail, and that is this arrow next to the casino across the street from it. It tells you to turn right, but if you turn right, you go directly onto the freeway, which is kind of funny. Now, I have had this in a previous video before, a long time ago, like 3 months ago, and someone in the comments kind of made a slightly valid point, and they said, well, it's for the road up ahead. But the road up ahead is pretty far away. Like, I don't think they would have a turn right arrow like a quarter mile away from the road where you're supposed to turn right from. Usually they have it right before the road, so it kind of just makes no sense. And there are a ton of these around the map, as I will show you in the next clip, but this is just one of my favorite ones because it's been in the game for a very long time and Rockstar has still not fixed it. Another specific case of this is this street next to the police station down here in Strawberry. There's a road right here that instructs you to turn left, but you turn directly into the pole that guides the traffic and the train. And it just seems like pretty bad planning. I'm pretty sure that the teams who were making this, whatever, were not communicating, because I'm not really sure how you messed this up. Just move the pole over slightly. And once again, just a very funny incident of Rockstar just not really making sure everything is completely polished before the game goes out. And in GTA 6, I actually hope to see more roads like this, because no one even uses this road anyways. It's pretty bad. They just go directly into the train tracks and pass it. But yeah, I just think it's funny and quirky to see. Once again, I hope to see in GTA 6, or at least some of them, maybe a couple roads, obviously not the entire map be completely misaligned or whatever, but I highly doubt it. GTA 6 has been in development for way too long. Rockstar is not going to let anything like this slide, but if they do, I will be the first to make a video on this, so stay tuned. As GTA 6 comes closer and closer to release, it's saying late 2024, early 2025. It begs the question, how much longer could Rockstar theoretically continue to support GTA 5 online with updates? And in my opinion, they're kind of at the end of it. If you really think about it, think of all the properties in the game and the purpose they serve. So let's start with the auto shop. The auto shop, I mean, you could basically find on any corner of Los Angeles. It's not very hard to find an auto shop anywhere. So any building could theoretically be made into an auto shop. But for example, the gun running update needs a bunker. You can't really just find a bunker anywhere. Matter of fact, most bunkers were added after, I'm pretty sure all of them actually, were added during the update because there just were not any bunker locations to utilize. This also happened to facilities. Facilities did not exist before the Doomsday update. They had to add facilities around the map. Matter of fact, I believe if you go into GTA 5 story mode and you go to the locations of all these, you will find that there are no bunkers, there are no CEO office garages, there are no nothing. Actually, there are office garages, but I mean specifically the Arcadius building where it has a garage on the bottom floor and you could drive into it. That is not there in story mode. There are no facilities in story mode. There are no bunkers in story mode. I don't even think Benny's is in story mode. And once again, it's less of a problem when it's an easy update that you can kind of tweak to any sort of topic. Like once again, auto shops you could make anywhere because they're plentiful. But Rockstar is kind of out of those updates. Most of these updates have not revolved around properties lately, and they've kind of revolved around story missions, which is really the only way for Rockstar to to go in terms of content because there's just not any more room for any more properties on the map, which goes to show GTA Online shouldn't have lasted this long. A big detail that Rockstar did not consider when adding 30-player lobbies. If you didn't know, 30-player lobbies did not always exist. I believe it was 20 or 15 before on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. I'm not too sure, but it wasn't always 30 because optimization reasons. 30 on those consoles would have made the playing experience terrible. There would have been too many players, and I can even see that today. I play on an Xbox Series S, and it's not the most powerful console. I could get an Xbox Series X, which I probably will be getting soon, because the optimization is just pretty bad. Most of the time when I record in public lobbies, it's just slow because Rockstar really didn't account for every player having a yacht, every player having an active MLC or Terabyte or Avenger, you know, a vehicle like that. Every player having various properties around the map, every player having a personal vehicle, and all of those really add up to make the playing experience pretty bad from a performance standpoint. I remember the topic being brought up when the newest generation consoles were about to come out, Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. People were like, oh, there should be 50-player lobbies, and thank God Rockstar did not listen to these people, because optimization and the playing experience would have just been terrible. Imagine 50 players on the map, all having an Avenger out, all having a personal vehicle out, having every business property in the game, every CEO launching a sell mission at the same time. It's just pretty bad, and I think Rockstar maybe should have limited, maybe not 30 players, but maybe they should have stuck to 20, because lobbies really don't even get filled that much anymore. But the game is not dying by any means. It will be around for a very long time, but I really just think that Rockstar should have put more thought into optimization for current generation consoles and even the earlier generation consoles, the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Because looking back at that, I tried to play the older GTA 5 compared to the new one, and you could definitely tell that this new one is tailored for new generation consoles, and it really flows well. The old one is absolutely terrible. The FPS is like 30. Rockstar actually does kind of have a method of limiting how much players should be in a lobby. If you don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone knows, but there can only be 8 organizations in one lobby, which encourages players to leave the lobby to start their own. So they somewhat have an organic way of doing that, but I just think, I don't know, it's still, I think the game would perform way better if it was capped to 20 players per session, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. And that is it, everyone. Various details that Rockstar missed in GTA Online over the years, however big or however small, they still matter. And that is what she said. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day or night or evening or all of them, and goodbye.